Hello and a very warm welcome to everyone joining us for this webinar to kickstart your ACCA journey with ACCA-X. My name is Gillian Logue and I am an Education Delivery Analyst here at ACCA. I'm delighted to be joined by Kritika Adatia, who is our Digital Education Lead, and Isabel Roth, our Education Community Manager. Together, we are part of the team that delivers the ACCA-X course programme. Today, we'll be exploring the courses we offer and how these courses can benefit you on your ACCA journey. We have a packed agenda today, so let's get started. This webinar has been designed to provide you with an overview of our courses and introduce the benefits and resources on offer by studying with ACCA-X. We'll also talk about the ACCA-X community, as well as covering advice for those of you who are self-studying, and we'll share our exam tips for success. One of our previous learners, Paul Businge, will be joining us a bit later on to chat to Isabel about his experience studying with ACCA-X. But before we get stuck in, I'm going to run through some housekeeping points. At the bottom of the screen, there are several icons you can use. There is a help icon, which is being highlighted on your screen as we speak. And this provides the resources you need to resolve any technical issues you may experience. There are also icons for the slides and media player, and you'll need to have both open during the webinar, so make sure you've selected these. You can also rearrange your screen to suit your preference. If at any point your sound isn't playing or the slides are not progressing, please do just try refreshing your browser. There's a Q&A button which you can use to submit your questions, and we have a dedicated team working behind the scenes committed to answering as many of your questions as possible. However, please note that given the volume of questions that we receive in these live webinars, we can't always guarantee responding to everyone directly. That said, we have allocated some time for a live Q&A towards the end of the webinar, and we hope that in the Q&A segment we can offer responses to some of the questions that will be helpful to everyone attending today. There is a resource list icon which includes an interactive one-pager summary of the various resources referenced throughout this webinar, and we recommend you download this PDF and take a look at it in your own time, as it contains all of the links that you need to access each resource, which will help you kickstart your studies. There's also an icon on screen in the resources box, which will take you directly to our ACCA-X website, and this provides information on each of our 7 courses. Registering for today's event means that you'll be sent an email tomorrow allowing you access to a recorded version of this webinar, so don't worry if you miss something or you have a technical issue. You'll be able to access the recording and rewatch whatever it is that you might have missed. So let's kick off with a poll to get to know you a little bit better and find out where you are in your ACCA journey so far. So we want to know, have you previously sat a Foundations in Accountancy or Applied Knowledge exam? So if you can answer in the slides area of the console, don't answer in the Q&A or the attendee chat, as this won't be included in the poll. But I can see some responses coming in. I'll just give you 10 seconds or so. Have you previously sat a Foundations in Accountancy or Applied Knowledge exam? Okay, so let's have a look. No, so the majority of you haven't yet sat a Foundations in Accountancy or Applied Knowledge exam. Whatever the reason you haven't, hopefully today you'll feel ready to kickstart your studies, and that could mean enrolling possibly in one of our courses. We've got another poll coming up. And again, have you booked your next Foundations in Accountancy or Applied Knowledge exam? If you can answer in the slide area. Have you booked your next FIA or Applied Knowledge exam? Just give you a few more seconds. can see more responses coming in, so I'll give you another 5 seconds. Okay, let's have a look. Again, no, the majority of you haven't booked, so hopefully again, by the end of today's session, you'll feel ready to start your journey with ACCA and hopefully ACCA-X. So a little bit more interaction. We want to hear from you in the attendee chat. We want to know if you've heard of ACCA-X and what is it that's interested you about these courses. So if you can post your thoughts in the attendee chat, I'll have a look just now to see if there's any coming in. Have you heard of the ACCA-X courses before? That's great. Someone's saying they're going to book an exam. Okay, some people haven't heard of ACCA-X, so that's probably why you've signed up for this webinar today. We'll circle back to this actually. Keep posting in the attendee chat. We love to hear what you have to say. And this is great insight for us too. So moving on. Moving on to what ACCA-X is all about. So ACCA-X is a suite of 7 online courses, all geared towards the Foundations in Accountancy and Applied Knowledge exams of the ACCA qualification. The courses contain all of the learning materials to meet the syllabus requirements for the FIA and Applied Knowledge level, as well as a series of practice exams and questions to support preparation for the accompanying exam. With 4 of the courses available completely free of charge, they are affordable and in keeping with ACCA's ethos of making accountancy accessible for everyone. Kritika will talk a bit more about exactly what these courses are on the next few slides. Our course content is syllabus relevant and updated each year in line with the ACCA syllabus. So a student studying with ACCA-X can feel assured that they have all of the necessary technical content and ample opportunities for question practice to successfully pass their respective exam. We also have a dedicated team working behind the scenes to support your learning, whether this is utilising discussion forums, the updates we provide in our live virtual notice board, email comms, or useful course handouts. Our learners are getting access to a wealth of support resources that really help to enhance their learning. Learners in the paid courses will also have access to 3 free practice tests. Not only this, but enrolling onto our courses allows you to engage with a global community of learners. We can learn from knowledge sharing, empowering your fellow learners by supporting each other's learning as well. The most resounding feedback we get from learner surveys is the flexibility that our courses offer. They are available on demand, and this means that you can learn at a pace that suits you, whenever or wherever you like. So the flexibility means it's attractive for those of you that have other commitments such as work and family and a social life. Once you enrol onto our courses, you have access to the content for 12 months and you can revisit that course content as many times as you like. So now I'll hand over to Kritika, who can talk you through the courses at a bit more of an in-depth level.
Thank you, Gillian, for that introduction, and hello to everyone that's joining us on this webinar. I can see lots of chat taking place within our chat section already, so that's great. Keep that coming. As introduced, my name is Kritika Dati, and I'm the product lead for ACCA-X. I'm also a qualified accountant, and I trained in practice, but I moved into the education space, which is essentially where I found my calling. So I do understand the journey that you're embarking on, okay, the challenges, the ups and downs that you might face, but hopefully the ultimate high that you might also experience once you have hit that milestone of qualifying, especially if that's your aspiration. Now, Gillian's already introduced at a high level the ACCA-X product, okay? So what I'm going to do in my segment is I'm going to go a little bit deeper into some of the detail of the course offering. Okay, so let's kick off with the courses that our product covers. Okay, so on to the next slide here. What we offer is the basic introduction to bookkeeping and the introduction to management accounting course. And that's along with the intermediate bookkeeping and intermediate management accounting course. And these courses are open access and free. Yes, that's right, free for everyone to use. Now, the technical content that's covered within these courses, they are directly aligned to the learning outcomes for the respective FA1, MA1, FA2, and the MA2 exams. Now, if you're thinking, what are these letters and numbers? Well, they're basically the acronyms that are used for the foundations in accountancy diploma exams. Now, if you do want to know more about the foundations in accountancy diploma, we have attached to this webinar within the resources section a web page that talks in a bit more detail about the FIA qualification. And what I'm going to do at this point is I'm just going to spotlight the resources button on your menu bar, which Gillian called out in the introduction, that should be flashing at your side. Please do click on those resources and you'll be able to get a little bit more insight into the FIA qualification. But just for completeness, if you decide to do FA1 and MA1, you complete the respective exam, you'll be entitled to the Level 2 Diploma in Financial and Management Accounting. And if you go ahead and complete the FA2 and the MA2 exam, you can obtain the Level 3 Diploma in Financial and Management Accounting. Now, Gillian mentioned earlier that you have access to these courses for 12 months, okay, once you've enrolled. But just for context, if you're wondering how long does it take to complete an individual course, well, it takes around 30 to 48 hours per course, okay, so that's per course. Now, remember, you've got 12 months to complete the course, so you can spread that however you wish. And I will add that these are suggested learning hours, okay, so if it takes you longer, or you complete it quicker, not a problem, because you've got access to it for 12 months. But something we do encourage is that if you enroll onto our courses, please do block out time for your studies and also think about booking the respective exam for that course if that's your intention. And Isabel will be talking a little bit more about the tips for online learning, but I do think just having that exam booked might mean you have something to work towards, okay, you're not putting things off. We do also offer the Level 4 diploma courses. This is essentially the applied knowledge stage for the full ACCA qualification. Okay, so if you're working towards the full ACCA qualification, we do offer the applied knowledge courses as well. So that covers financial accounting, management accounting, and business and technology. Now, these courses, they are slightly longer, so they do take double the time to complete. So you're looking at around 60 to 96 suggested learning hours to complete these. Now, these courses, they are chargeable. So we do charge $119 per course. However, we are often feeling generous and we do have discount codes on offer throughout at certain points in the year. But in fact, if you're attending this webinar live or you're viewing this on demand, your attendance to this webinar means that you're going to be getting informed about a discount code that we're offering specifically for you. So do stick around till the end to learn a little bit more about what that discount is and how to claim it. Okay, so Isabel will give you a little bit more information about that. Now, our courses do really offer high value course content, access to resources that our students really value and they comment positively on. And in fact, our survey results reveal that 80% of our respondents think that our course offering is really, really good value for money. Okay, now next up, what I want to show you is a demonstration of our courses in action, because I imagine if you're attending this webinar or you're intrigued by ACCA-X and what our courses are all about, you want to know what our courses might look like. Okay, so on the next slide, I'm going to be playing a bit of a video, so there might be a bit of a lag, but I'm just going to click on through and hopefully the video will play.
At ACCA, we believe that high-quality accountancy tuition should be available to everyone, so we've created ACCA-X. Each course has been designed to offer a wealth of knowledge, practical examples, and flexibility, enabling you to take control of your learning. Once you've enrolled onto one of our courses, you'll be taken to the homepage. This comprises an easy-to-use menu, allowing you to navigate seamlessly through the course. On the right-hand side of your homepage are your course dates and useful handouts that we'd strongly encourage you to explore. Each course includes downloadable summary notes. These are great to use for when you're working offline and are the perfect resource when it comes to revision. The interactive contents page replicates the online course structure and allows for easy navigation, helping you to recap key concepts, topics, and formulas from each lesson within the course. Other useful handouts include the syllabus documents and a course map which you can use as a guide as you work through the sections and lessons of this course. You should start with the course orientation section. This is packed full of tips and strategies for studying most effectively through the course, as well as signposting relevant tools and resources to support your learning. The virtual notice board on the course homepage will keep you updated with reminders, links to new resources, and much more. Our courses are arranged into sections and broken down further into lessons and units, facilitating bite-sized learning that you can revisit as many times as you like. The units within a course include interactive practical examples and knowledge checks so that you can reinforce your learning. Each section includes a designated discussion forum where you can connect with and learn from conversations with fellow learners. Engaging with others on forums is a fantastic way to improve your knowledge and boost motivation. You can also reach out to the ACCA-X team and ask for clarification on a concept, idea, or question you didn't understand, or for general support. Our dedicated team are committed to helping you learn and succeed throughout the course. At the end of each section, you'll have the opportunity to complete graded tests and optional exam questions. As the saying goes, practice makes perfect, and there's ample opportunity for practice throughout the course. These questions are designed to be exam standard, therefore equipping you with the necessary practice to maximize exam success. You can learn from the detailed feedback that is provided for each question, or revisit the technical lesson that covered the concepts examined in that question. Alternatively, you can reach out to us via the discussion forums or consider reading previous discussion forum threads. You might find that the question you seek clarification on may already have been answered. Our data insights reveal that students who attempt practice questions are more likely to succeed in the exam. Therefore, at the end of each course, we have also added a revision section. This is designed to get you exam ready with an opportunity to practice a full exam standard test. We've added a new lesson comprising exam debrief videos, offering bite-sized tutorials to some of the most challenging questions from the revision practice test. Use these videos to help build your confidence and expertise in the topic areas covered through the course. Enrollment to the ACCA-X courses also provides you with free access to the ACCA practice tests. These can be exceptionally beneficial for your revision. Designed with the best practices of pedagogy, we have developed award-winning courses which have seen over 200,000 learners enrolled to date. With resounding feedback from our learners citing ACCA-X as an engaging, enjoyable, and informative e-learning experience, join our growing community of learners and be part of something bigger.
Okay, super. Hopefully that video has given you some useful insight into the learning experience and the support that's available to you. But what I want to do on this slide is really just reiterate some of the key points coming out from that video and add a couple more. So we'll kick off with the first thing that was mentioned, or one of the first things that was mentioned in the video, which is the course orientation. You really should complete that first, especially if you're new to the edX platform and the ACCA-X courses, because that course orientation is going to give you a bit of an idea about the look and feel of our courses, how to navigate it, so on and so forth. Now, the way that we have arranged our courses really does facilitate easy digestion of content, really helping to ease with that cognitive overload. So remember, you do like months worth of access to the course. Now, each unit does comprise different modalities in the way that we present our information. So if you're someone like me who really likes videos and videos as a form of learning, great, we do have videos. But if you're somebody that prefers text on screen, graphics and imagery and interactives, well, we do also have that. And I guess the variety also keeps the content engaging and interesting, plus caters to those different learning preferences. Now, course resources, some of these were called out in the video as well, but just to reiterate, summary notes, which was one of the things that was mentioned in the video, definitely worthwhile downloading. Look into this. It will certainly help you get a bit of a recap on some of the technical topics, but also course maps, which Gillian has been really instrumental this year in helping us pull together. These course maps are downloadable, okay? It will give you a bit of a guideline in terms of all the units in our courses. Use it as a checklist, okay? These course handouts can be found under the course handouts section, as was pointed out in the video. There are also platform features like the discussion forums, which Isabel manages, and she'll talk a little bit more about that as well. Definitely engage with other students on the platform. But something I want to mention that's a fairly new feature, which we didn't mention in the video because it's so new, is that actually the platform edX has launched what they are referring to as the Expert Learning Assistant. This is essentially an AI chatbot tool. Think of it as your digital tutor. It's going to be capable of answering your technical questions should you get stuck on a topic area, okay? Now, we live in an era where generative AI technologies have really taken off, okay? So let me know in the chat if you're somebody that has used generative AI tools like ChatGPT. And if you fancy, give us your thoughts on it. What do you think about generative AI technologies? And whilst you're doing that, what I want to do is spotlight a video that we've pulled together that gives a walkthrough of this particular resource on our ACCA-X courses. So I'm going to highlight the resources. Within the resources section, what you should see is a link to a video that walks through this particular feature that's recently been added to our courses. So in addition to the discussion forums, you can also get help from the Expert Learning Assistant. So we're super excited by that. Something else that was called out within the video was question practice. Okay, I won't hop on too long on this particular point, but there are ample opportunities for question practice within our courses. Okay, and with these courses, you know, and the exams, the ACCA exams in general, it's not just the technical knowledge that's important. Question practice is key. Okay, so we really have embedded a lot of question practice through our course. Now, in terms of revision, this was also called out in the video, but just to reiterate that to support your exam readiness, we do have a dedicated revision section in each of our courses, and there's lots more opportunity here for further question practice. There's also a full exam to replicate that exam experience so that it helps to build your exam confidence. And we've also supported this with video debriefs from 10 of the more challenging questions from the graded revision exam. Okay, so definitely make sure that if you're enrolling onto our courses, you do make use of those video resources as well. Now, something that was called out, and Gillian alluded to this earlier as well, is that if you enroll for our paid courses, an added benefit is that you will get free access to our practice tests. Okay, and these are normally chargeable if you buy these through our website. That's our ACCA Global website. Just to reiterate, they are free for our paid courses, not available for our free courses. Okay. Now, something that I continue to be impressed by is the insights that our data team produce, which reveal that students studying with ACCA-X have pass rates that exceed the global average. Okay, and hopefully what comes across today in the webinar is the commitment and the dedication of the team that work behind the scenes, because we really do want to provide the best possible resource to our learners. And as Gillian mentioned as well, we're always open to feedback, so please do share any feedback on your thoughts and experiences if you do go on to enroll in our courses. Now, before I hand over to Isabel, I do just want to address a question that we tend to get around, ACCA-X and also Study Hub, calling this out, especially because it was mentioned in some of the questions that we see coming through in the pre-registration questions that you can submit. I'm also just going to dip into some of the chat that's coming through. Mary mentioning she's used ChatGPT. I think it's great for giving advice and guidance. Fantastic. Kushpreet saying she's heard about AI as well, used it before, brilliant. Very helpful from Michael as well. And Sharon saying, yes, have used ChatGPT, amazing. So it's great that those of you on this call have already started to use generative AI technologies, because then you're going to love the expert learning assistants on our courses, because it essentially is powered by ChatGPT. Okay, so it's a large language model. Obviously, caveat, it is susceptible to mistakes, as are all large language models. Please do check out our video walkthrough to learn a little bit more. So just before I hand over, a quick little summary about ACCA-X and Study Hub and the distinction. So obviously through this webinar, we've been talking about the ACCA-X product, and essentially, and to reiterate, this is a on-demand e-learning product that offers you the course tuition, the course content, the learning and the revision that's going to be relevant for the foundations in accountancy, okay, courses or the exams. Now, the courses are housed on a platform called edX, okay? So because it's external, it's an external platform, you do not need to be registered with ACCA to use these courses, okay? And I think that's a great benefit, because some of you on this course may not have made the decision yet to register with ACCA. And what ACCA-X offers is the opportunity to dip your toes into the world of accountancy without making that significant financial investment. You might dip your toes and think this isn't for me, and that's fine. Or you might dip your toes, and as many of our learners do, decide, hey, this is really good and I want to continue, and then you might go on and pursue the full qualification. Now, contrast this with Study Hub, which is essentially a digital textbook. It is available for free for all registered ACCA students. So the big distinction there is that you will only have access to Study Hub once you register as a student, okay? The other thing to call out is that the Study Hub is a resource that's going to be available throughout the qualification, okay? It's not just foundations in accountancy. There is content within the Study Hub applicable to applied skills and strategic professional exams if your aspiration is to move throughout, and pursue the full ACCA qualification. Now, we also mentioned earlier that ACCA-X courses, they are updated in line with ACCA syllabus changes every year. And that is true also for the Study Hub, okay? You can access the detail of what these syllabus changes are going to be through our website, because each year a new syllabus document is uploaded, but there's always an interactive PDF as well, which highlights the differences year on year. And what we've done in this webinar is we've linked it out within resources. Again, I'm just going to highlight the resources icon. You should see that flashing your side, so please do check that out as well. So on that note, I'm going to hand over to Isabel. So over to you, Isabel, for the next segment.
Thank you, Kritika, and welcome everyone. It's really good to see you all on the session today. I've been keeping an eye on the chat and the questions coming in, and it's really great to see everyone so engaged. So just a very, very quick introduction. I'm Isabel, and I'm an Education Community Manager here at ACCA. So over the last few years since I joined the organisation, I've been supporting the ACCA student community, speaking directly with learners at all stages of their journey. So I understand a bit about the different challenges, but also the many benefits of undertaking ACCA exams and pursuing the qualification. So in this segment, we're going to explore how ACCA-X supports effective learning and exam progression, but with a particular focus on the important role of community. And that's particularly important for those of you who are self-studying. Now, I have just mentioned that I'm very lucky to speak regularly with students and hear firsthand about their study experiences. But we're even luckier that today, I'm very pleased to say, one such learner is here to join us live and talk about his own experiences of learning with ACCA-X. So can I welcome on Ian?
Hi, Isabel. Hi, everyone. Hi, Kritika. Hi,
Hello,
Glenn.
Ian.
Hi, it's lovely to see you again. Hi.
So, Ian, I was going to give you an introduction to you, but actually you're probably better to give your own introduction. Can you share a bit about your background and maybe share with the attendees where you are now at your ACCA journey, what exams you're studying for?
Brilliant. Yeah. Hi, my name is Ian. I am an assistant accountant in a practice in the southwest of lovely England. My ACCA journey, I'm currently a third of the way through my applied skills. And as Isabel has mentioned, ACCA-X was foundational to me moving on to my applied skills exams.
Yeah, so it's great to hear that you started your journey with ACCA-X and you're now, quite a big chunk of the way through your ACCA journey. So what can I ask made you choose to learn with ACCA-X?
That's a brilliant question. And I'll start by saying, do you know what? I hadn't even heard of ACCA-X. I just stumbled across it because I was preparing for my ACCA applied knowledge exams at the time. And I was looking through resources from another approved content provider. Now, I was subscribed to the ACCA Student podcast, and we had a gentleman talk with another one. And the name ACCA-X came up. I was thinking, why haven't I heard of that before? So quickly went into the ACCA website, scrolled down at the bottom, there's an ACCA-X link. Boom, I was taken to the edX platform, as Kritika and Gillian and the videos have mentioned already. And what I did was dip my toes in. I looked, I was like, what does this compare to in relation to the ACCA syllabus? Boy, oh boy, was I blown away. And that's not to be dramatic or hyperbolic. The quality of the content struck me from day one. The thing that I picked up and that remained a permanent draw for me was the exceptionally high quality of material. And as Kritika mentioned as well before, the interactivity of that resource. It wasn't just sitting in front of a dry textbook. You had a multimodal nature to this course. And I can say up to now, these are resources I reference even on my applied skills level for the financial reporting and management accounting stream papers. I still reference the resources from ACCA-X for up to level 4 to brush up on techniques and just consolidate learning.
That's amazing to hear. I'm glad that you're still making use of it and finding it useful, even though you've progressed further in your journey.
Yeah, I do.
So if you had to pick...
Sorry, come on. Apologies.
No, you go for it.
Yeah, no, it's just going to say...
I was going to say, if you had to choose one benefit about the courses, what would you choose?
Multimodal, without a doubt. And by multimodal, I mean, we live in an age where studies show, especially the generation coming up now, well, and even a generation as mine, that when you receive information in different ways, it will stick. So the infographics within the ACCA-X courses, the financial accounting module because I remember this was my main draw, was being introduced to a financial report at the end. And then the presenter saying, right, and here in the next series, we're going to break this down. I'm thinking, I know what I'm looking at. I need that. That held all the information together. You didn't only have that, you have interviews from leading industry figures in accountancy practice and industry, and the third sector, I believe, as well. The other thing that was really, really comprehensive about it is the interactive question model in ACCA-X, because some of these are self-marked and some of them have got advice as to how you could word your questions. But all of it consolidating the learning meant that when you're walking through the questions, it's like having a real life tutor beside you. And while I'm at that point as well, the ACCA-X YouTube learner channel, as well as the learner community, were fantastic. The ACCA journey can be a bit lonely depending on how you're studying it. You know, say you're a self-learner, or maybe you can't, for whatever reason, you're not using any of the other approved ACCA content providers. But the interactivity of ACCA-X kept me engaged. There's one prominent example I can't help pass up. I had a problem with a question, reached out on the learning community channel. Isabel, the manager, responds to the question. Kritika, technical content lead, responds within 12 hours. And it made sense. I remember that coming up in the exam. I was like, I know where this is going. That still stands out today. I did even wish ACCA-X continued not only at foundation level, but all the way to professional.
I think, yeah, I'm glad that you've called out some of the resources like the forums, because I'm going to go into that in a bit more detail just a minute. So it's good to hear your firsthand experience of it. So before we say goodbye, we only have a short amount of time with you, Ian, even though I'd like to talk to you no longer. Do you have any advice for students who are just starting out on their ACCA journey?
That's a brilliant question. It's also a difficult one. There's no one size fits all, just to start with, but here are my 2 pennies worth, if I may. Number one, if you're starting out with ACCA, that is the foundation levels up to level 4, that's foundations in financial accounting, management accounting, business and technology. Whether you're learning with another approved content provider or not, please make ACCA-X part of your training toolkit. I promise you, you will not regret it. The large question bank, the increased use of technology within the platform, it's almost like a self-learning system, and I guarantee you it will supercharge your learning. The second thing I would say, well, in addition to that, with ACCA-X, download the ACCA Student Accountant app, because that also opens up a wealth of other resources ACCA has given you to support you in your studies through the qualification. Number 2, last but not least, find a mentor, get a mentor. It might be a boss, it might be a fellow student who's gone through the journey. This is a tough journey, you can't do it alone, and you need accountability. You need someone to share successes, fails, insights with, and that will keep you in good stead and motivate you to go on through to the end.
Amazing, thank you. That's such good advice. And I like the shout out for the Student Accountant app, because it is a really good app, and we definitely recommend taking a look at that if you haven't already. Thank you so much for joining us, Ian. It's been really great to talk to you. I'll let you go now, but
brilliant. Lovely to meet you all. Cheers.
Bye-bye. So I hope you found that useful. It's really nice being able to speak directly with students. So as we mentioned, Ian's still actively taking exams. He's at applied skills level, but he started his journey with ACCA-X, and it's so nice to hear how the courses supported learners when they were just starting out. I hope that's been an inspirational conversation for you. Now we're going to move on to a very quick snapshot of what the rest of our learning community has to say about the quality of the ACCA-X course programme. So we run a survey at the end of every course, which asks learners to rate their satisfaction with the course experience. I'll just give you some examples on the screen now. As you can see, they're very positive. We have 94% of our learners say they are very or extremely satisfied with ACCA-X. 91% are very or extremely likely to recommend to others, and 83% intend to take another course. So as you can imagine, we're delighted to see this feedback, but I hope it gets across the sense that it's not just us who are excited about the courses. Learners are very positive about them too. Now, I did say I was going to talk a little bit about community. As the community manager, you would expect that from me. So let's have a look at what you can expect when you enroll onto an ACCA-X course. So when you enroll, you're joining a global community of learners, and community plays a really vital role in your learning journey. It's going to help you build confidence and a deeper understanding of subjects. And it can also contribute to positive well-being. It creates a sense of shared goals, which is particularly important for students who are self-studying outside of a normal classroom environment. We have discussion forums at the end of every session, giving ACCA-X learners the opportunity to share ideas and ask questions about the topics that they have just covered. And I'll say this over and over again, because I think it's really important, that the best way to test your understanding of a subject is to try and explain it to someone else. So make use of those forums. Go there not just to ask questions, but also try and answer them as well. The ACCA-X team will be on hand to answer your questions. We'll be there to help you as you progress through the course. As Ian mentioned, we actually helped him on some questions he had on the forums as well. Reach out to us there and we'll try and support you as best we can alongside your fellow learners. You'll also receive regular updates about ACCA, and we'll keep you in the loop about study resources which are going to help you prepare for your exams. Now, the courses have lots of different tools. Kritika's already touched on some of them, but there are tools to help you stay on track. That includes a downloadable course notes that support your learning. They help you cement key concepts, and they can be used as an offline revision aid, so do check those out. But what I really want to get across at this point is that the most important thing to remember here is contributing to your community and sharing your progress, sharing your thoughts with each other is such a fantastic way to remind yourself that you're not alone. Because we know that studying can be stressful and it can be a bit lonely sometimes. So it's really important that you connect with each other, with your fellow learners, support each other throughout your journey. So with that in mind, we're going to move on to tips for self-study. So a lot of people watching will be studying this, and you're going to be using, if you enroll into ACCA-X, you're going to be using an on-demand self-paced course. So before we get into our tips on how to make the most out of that, we want to put a question to you. So please do get involved in the attendee chat. Tell us what you think would be the most challenging part of doing a self-paced self-study platform. Or if you've already done some self-studying, what did you find the most challenging? And I'll actually ask, I'll put the question to Kritika and Gillian, and maybe in the attendee chat, if you can share your own thoughts about what you think would be the most challenging part of doing a self-paced course. So do share your thoughts in the attendee chat. Kritika says, having done online courses before, I think motivation can be a challenge, and that's absolutely right. We'll come on to motivation in just a short moment. But please do. I'll leave the. We've got a comment from Emma. Accountability and consistency is normally challenging. Finding time to study, finding resources, having the time to study, and staying focused. Yes, this is all absolutely correct. It's something that you really have to plan for when you're going into self-studying. Working from home with 3 kids, yeah, that does sound like a big challenge. But hopefully the flexibility of the courses will help with that. Right, please do keep on sharing your thoughts in the chat. I'm just going to move on now to our tips on how you can make the most out of a self-paced course. So self-study is obviously different to the traditional classroom environment. It comes with its own challenges, but also its own opportunities. So it can be a bit intimidating, but these tips will hopefully help you get the most out of it. So the first thing I want you to think about is your workspace. Make sure that you're sat somewhere free of distractions. I mean, that might be easier said than done, especially if you've got 3 children at home, but just try and find somewhere where you feel at ease. Don't worry if you haven't got a desk, just make sure that you have enough space to sit comfortably with your device. Having said that, turn off your phone where you can, because that's just going to distract you, and ensure you have everything you need close by so you're not getting up, trying to find what you need during your dedicated study time. Make sure your environment is clean and tidy as well, because that's going to help you order your mind and focus on the task at hand. Now, you are much more likely to succeed when you have clear goals that you're working towards, and it's really important, therefore, to know what your objectives are. For a lot of you here, it will be to pass those ACCA exams and progress through the qualification. So get those down, put them down on a list, stay focused and positive, and keep track of your progress. That's going to give you that motivational boost, because nothing feels better than ticking things off a to-do list, does it? It's such a nice feeling. You want to make a really good, realistic study plan, a schedule that fits around life and work. And actually, this is one of the main benefits of online learning with ACCA-X. It's the flexibility. Make the most of that. Of course, that does come with slight downsides in that you are responsible for your study plan, but try setting yourself a really clear deadline. And the best way to do that is to get an exam date. Then you can work backwards from that date and decide how much time you have to allocate to each task, what you want to have completed up in the lead up to that exam date. Get used to your own learning style. There's lots of universal learning techniques, asking questions, sharing knowledge, taking notes. Those are all active forms of learning. They're going to help you solidify knowledge of a subject. But we all learn in different ways, and it's important you test out different techniques to get you the most of it. I've had conversations with Kritika before. She absolutely loves video resources, where I'm more of a reader. I like to take notes and read through them. Whatever works for you, do it. And of course, engage with each other on the forums, get involved with your community. Like I said, that's really going to boost your motivation. Sharing knowledge is just such an effective way of learning, and it gives you the chance to just test that you understand things. You've already heard about some of the resources available. Make sure you use those. There's an interactive one-pager on the resources tab of this webinar, so do check that out. It's got all the links you need to really, really fantastic resources. You also want to make sure that you're looking after your well-being. It can be lonely, like we've said, doing a self-study course, but you've got a community there. Reach out to them. Don't take too much on at once. Make sure you take regular breaks from the screen. That's really important. Just keep looking after yourself, because being stressed and overworked is going to have a negative impact on your ability to learn. Now, we've mentioned this, but I'm going to repeat it one more time. Book your on-demand exam. This is so important, because especially when you're self-studying, having a date to work towards, it just gives you such a good boost. It gives your learning a focus. It's going to keep you motivated. So please do that. Now I'm going to move on ahead now, because I want to save some time for Q&A at the end, but we're just going to summarize some of the points that we've kind of said in different ways, but this is all about getting you thinking about your next steps. So the first step, if you decide to enroll onto an ACCA-X course, and of course we really hope you do after this webinar, you can just do that by visiting our website, where you select the course you want to enroll onto, then follow enrollment steps and set up an edX account. edX is the platform which hosts our courses. We can now share the details of that special discount for learners on this webinar. If you're enrolling onto one of our 3 paid courses, Financial Accounting, Management Accounting, and Business and Technology, this code will entitle you to 30% off the full price. That's roughly just over $35 off the full price. This is the biggest discount we've offered yet, and it's going to be available for the next 2 weeks. You just need to use the code ACCA-X webinar. Remember, all caps, all one word. That's on the screen now. Make a note of it. I do want to just say, we get a lot of people who watch these webinars on demand. So if that's you, just be aware that the offer may have expired by the time you're watching this. Now, if you're keen to pursue the FIA or ACCA qualification, it really helps to have a deadline to work towards, and you can do this by booking your exam. I've said it already, we're just going to keep on repeating it. I know it may seem daunting to commit so early, but knowing before you begin your studies that you have that exam date will help you build structure and allow you to put a solid plan in place. You can sit ACCA exams either remotely or at an exam centre. All of the exams at Foundations and Applied Knowledge level are on-demand computer-based exams, which means you can choose to take them at any date that suits you. It's very easy to keep delaying this and keep procrastinating over it, but really is the best way to get yourself going, keep yourself motivated. There's a link on the one pager that is in the resources tab that'll take you to the exam booking website, so you can web page on our website, so you can find more information. Finally, please do use all of the resources available to you. We've got so many resources on both the courses themselves, but also ACCA provides a wealth of resources all the way through your ACCA journey. Get used to using them now, and that's just going to set you up for success further down the line. Again, look at the one-page resource, one-page PDF on this webinar. It summarizes all the key resources you need to be aware of. And also just a quick shout out for practice, question practicing. Practice makes perfect. We will say this to you all the way through your ACCA journey. The best way of making sure that you are prepared for your exams is to put your understanding to the test. There's lots of regular knowledge checks within the courses, but you can also access the ACCA practice test. They replicate the exam interface and are a great way to practice ahead of the exam. Best of all, learners on our 3 paid courses get access to those practice tests free of charge. Now, I've spoken enough, I think, so I'm going to welcome my colleagues Gillian and Kritika back on, and we're going to spend a little bit of time doing Q&A now. Hello, both.
Hi. Yep, thanks,
Hello.
Isabel. We have had a phenomenal response in the Q&A and the attendee chat, literally hundreds of questions and comments. So we're just going to use the remainder of the time we have to try and just get through as many questions as possible, even if we have to give kind of short, quick answers. So reoccurring questions I saw come in: do we receive exemptions from ACCA exams after completing ACCA-X courses? No exemptions after completing the courses, because the courses are there and they're designed to help you prepare, get ready and pass with a good pass rate for the actual ACCA exam, the corresponding exam. So no exemptions, but the courses get you ready to sit the exam. Another one I saw coming through, do we need to purchase textbooks for the courses? You don't have to purchase anything. Everything is self-contained in the courses. So you get all of the relevant syllabus content. You get, everything's interactive. There's videos, there's practice tests, self-check areas of the courses that you can use. So no need to purchase anything additional, just the courses themselves. Another one, Kritika, that I saw maybe for you, the difference between ACCA and ACCA-X. Do you want to pick that one up?
Yeah, thank you, Gillian. Yeah, I saw a few variations of this question coming through, not just in the chat, but the Q&A. And to really spell it out, the ACCA is the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. That is the body that sets the exam. Now, when you want to do an exam, you're going to be thinking about, right, how do I learn the technical content? Think of ACCA-X almost as the tuition provider. So ACCA-X is the tuition support resource that you can use to get your technical understanding so that you can sit that exam. So I hope that really clarifies the distinction. It's not that you've got to do one or the other. If you want to do the ACCA exams, you've got to register as an ACCA student to get your technical understanding. You might decide to use our ACCA-X courses that provide the technical knowledge. And just as a tag on to that, our ACCA-X courses cover the foundations in accountancy courses. Okay, so earlier when I showed that slide with our 7 courses, it's the level 2, level 3 and the level 4 courses, and I'm simply addressing that because I saw a few questions come through, Gillian, that were really just wanting to reiterate, is it just the foundations in accountancy? What might I use if I'm studying applied skills strategic professional? Well, for that you might go to a tuition provider, or you might want to consider also our study hub if you're already a registered student. Okay, so I'll pause there.
Can I jump in actually, Kritika, because I've just seen a question come through that it's related. Someone's just asked, they want to know whether the full ACCA qualification is fully self-study courses or online classes. Just to say, we're just, as Kritika's just outlined, we're talking about courses that support the foundations and applied knowledge level exams, but there's lots of different types of tuition and study options available to you as you progress through the ACCA qualification. So there's plenty of information about that on our website. Definitely head there and look at the student section of the website where we have lots of information about tuition options.
Yeah, Isabel, I've just pasted the link of the tuition and study options webpage on the chat. So yeah, just to echo Isabel's point, please check out that webpage link that's specific for tuition and study support options. Yeah.
There's another question in here. Do we need to, and you kind of touched on this earlier, Isabel, but do we need to book the exam before we get started on learning? Do you want to come in with that?
Yeah, this is the I think good and bad thing about on-demand courses and on-demand exams is that it's flexible. It's up to you. You don't have to have booked your exam in order to take the ACCA-X courses, but as I've hopefully got across, we really do recommend getting your exam date booked as soon as possible, because it's just so easy to procrastinate over. You can put it off, you can put it off, you can put it off. But as soon as you have it booked, you're going to have a really, well, I think the best possible motivator there is, which is the exam date. And you can work backwards, produce a study plan. So no, you don't have to have had it booked in order to take the course, but we do recommend getting it booked as soon as you feel ready.
Yeah, I think we all agree it's good practice to get that exam booking in so that you have something to focus on. Can the exams be taken online, or do we have to find a physical centre to sit them? You don't have to go to, well, there is a physical centre, but you book your exam at an on-demand exam centre. All of that information is available on the ACCA website. So there's also no set session. So as soon as you feel ready, you can get that exam booked in with a third party on-demand exam centre. Anything else you guys have seen that we're getting lots of questions on?
Just to reiterate, oh, sorry, no, Isabel, please come in. Oh, Isabel, were you going to come in there, or do you want me to just quickly?
No, I was waiting. I said, you go ahead.
Okay, fine. Brilliant. So just to echo something, Gillian, I know you mentioned this, but we have had students just asking, about the Study Hub and ACCA-X. You can obviously use both products, but to reiterate, Study Hub is a digital textbook. ACCA-X is our e-learning course. If you study with ACCA-X, you do not need any additional books. As Gillian mentioned, you do not need to use any other tuition provider. You will be getting everything you need to know for the exam if you're doing our ACCA-X courses. So, you do not need to use another tuition provider. And obviously, if you use the Study Hub, great as well. We do generally advise that with Study Hub being a digital textbook, you might benefit from having support from a learning provider. And we've shared the link to tuition and study support in the chat as well when Isabel was talking about it earlier. So that was just to reiterate something I'm seeing coming through. So I'll hand over to you, Isabel, in case there's anything else you've seen that you want to pick up.
Do you know what? We were about to answer the same question. I was going to mention about the Study Hub as well, but you've covered that.
Both fantastic tools. that we offer.
Yeah.
Study
Yeah.
Hub and ACCA-X, and also the additional resources that we have free of charge on the website, technical articles, specimen exams. The list is endless actually of what we offer to support students with their studies. Very quickly, I saw some questions on certification after you complete our courses. No certificates upon completion, but there are certificates available once you've passed the relevant exams. And also a couple of questions on practice tests. We covered it earlier on in the webinar, but the practice tests are completely free of charge and will be offered to learners on the BT, MA and FA courses. So you won't have to pay for them, and you'll get 3 free practice tests each. I'm seeing quite a few questions on practice, which is fantastic because that means that you all know how important practice is in your studies. Anything else from you guys? We're run out of time, but we could possibly go over by a minute or two.
Gillian, just one very quick one that I've seen about the ACCA-X course being on the edX platform. This student is saying, I've done a few courses on edX already, so I don't get the benefits. Is there a full roadmap in ACCA-X? So just to that question, ACCA-X courses, yes, they're on a platform called edX. If you already have an account with edX, you can use those credentials to enroll onto our ACCA-X courses. You could simply go on the edX website and search ACCA-X and all our courses will come up. Or alternatively, as Gillian pointed out in the introduction, we have added a specific web page that details all our courses. And actually what I'm just going to do, if I can bring it up just right now in the engagement tools, so I'm just going to flash that. Okay, I'm going to highlight that, the ACCA-X website that Gillian's added to as a resource to this webinar. Please do click on that. You'll find all the information. I will essentially give you a summary of all the courses that I showed earlier on my slide as well. So hopefully that's helped with that question. But yes, conscious of time, Gillian, so I guess we should probably wrap up there.
Yeah, we probably should wrap up right there. And what a fantastic response we've received on this webinar. It's been outstanding, it really has, and a lot of the comments coming through, I think you'd agree, really have given us some useful insight into where you guys are at with your ACCA studies. So again, if you're interested in enrolling into our courses, take a look at the details on the ACCA-X webpage, which is linked in the resources section. And also don't forget, we've got a 30% discount running up until the 10th of October. So I'd like to thank Kritika, Isabel and Ian for joining me today. Also, a quick reminder that you'll receive an email tomorrow which contains a link to the recorded version of this webinar if you wish to revisit any part of it. So thanks again for joining us and best of luck with your ACCA journey.
Bye, everyone.